Alex Connor is an app and operations specialist based in New York City. He presented Spark CIVIC, a tool that focuses on a common problem New Yorkers and visitors often struggle, not because data, forms, or services don't exist, but because the next step isn't clear when people are overwhelmed. Using real datasets, Spark CIVIC shows how reporting data and required artifacts can be translated into simple humane outputs, next step plans, eligibility clarity cards, paperwork readiness checklist, and handoff summaries. Check out his work, links in the description box below.
Hi, thanks. My name is Alex, and this is SPARK Tech. SPARK Tech is an accessibility-first technology company. Today I'm here to show and tell a little bit more about SPARK Tech, SPARK Tech's offerings. Right now, our main three pillars are SPARK AI, which is our accessibility-first AI assistant. You can think of it more like your assistant's assistant, kind of a layer in between. We're going to go over DoOS, which is our agentic operating system. And then Keys, which is our smartphone keyboard and communications layer. And then we're going to talk about how all of that ties into Spark CIVIC and the NYC Open Data portal and the dataset inventory. I mentioned that it's really an assistant's assistant. It's kind of meant to help live in the in-between level and help orchestrate your devices, your services, your platforms that already exist, that you already subscribe to, that you already pay for. But it's just doing it in a pretty clever way. I mentioned that we have the three pillars, Spark naturally being an agentic AI. You can actually think of it more of like a 1920s switchboard operator. It's more about routing, helping you answer your general questions, but then also routing your requests to what we call a mixture of experts, which are other types of AIs that have specific abilities and specific skills. And that also ties into a whole knowledge system as well as public partnership programs. We're going to be doing this via DoOS, which is essentially kind of like a app shortcuts meets AI macros. But again, because they're a part of our accessibility system, they're completely modality agnostic, platform agnostic, so you're going to be able to use it on your Android device, your iPhone, your Windows laptop. You'll also be able to use it across communication modalities. So whether that be ASL gestures, handwritten, ESL, visual abilities. So it's really meant to be for everyone. But it ends up just being a really good version of anything that it is. So it's not just, about the shortcuts and chaining together these action atoms. It's about lowering cognitive load and actually helping people get stuff done, but also helping them find information and resources to things that they need, not just on their, on their devices, but out in the real world. Things such as the NYPL Connections guide, which is for previously incarcerated people and people starting over. Essentially, where do I go? Who do I reach out to for ABC, XYZ? So being able to take things like that and to distill it into this system already makes it even more powerful than most systems that are already out today. So we really want to take this noise of everything that's out there and try and help make sense of it, and utilizing these atomic elements, basically directly addressable objects within the system. Think Adobe and Next web objects from like 1994. Basically address these as web objects. So that gives us the ability to control them in many different ways, as if they were native apps on any of your devices. But it really is actually an internet browser. We want to be able to take these action atoms, shortcuts, and these skills that we have in our system and help people not just get stuff done, but also learn and communicate in the way that they need to and want to. So that's where Keys really comes in. That's our smartphone keyboard and accessibility as well as security layer. But the really great thing about Keys is it's also an internet browser. So not only does it have these incredible web abilities with WASM and GreenSock open source animations that allows us to do all of these really great functionalities, it also allows us to basically morph your keyboard into anything you want. You want a remote control for a specific game, your keyboard can help you build it. You want a polyglot panel because you speak 3 different languages and you want to create your own panel for navigating these languages without having to switch panels. Creative, math, research, really any kind of thing that tool, skill, or ability that you need, and all without having to install a separate application because these are built to run within your web browser. And again, because your keyboard is now your internet browser, and your internet browser is your keyboard. We've got things just beyond DuoOS within the keyboard, things like text replacement and text expansion, which also helps us set up shortcuts to help alleviate any sort of fatigue from typing. It allows you to save custom phrases, but then we also have shortcuts within each of those phrases. Think of it as like a URL that gets expanded out, but is powered by these really smart AI shortcuts. With that, we're also going to be able to tie into NYC Open Data portal and use what's called the NYC Data Asset Inventory. What this is basically a report that shows every single report that New York City, by law, Law 251, must publish. And what we're able to do is actually take these thousands and thousands and thousands of reports with thousands and thousands of lines and turn it into something that people can use, whether those be custom modules based off of a 311 activity. If they reach out to HRA, we have a civic action summary that is able to dynamically include note fields for that specific task, as well as any kind of actions or notes that you might need for the next task. And because it is in this incredibly robust system, all of this actually happens dynamically. The office worker doesn't have to figure out, how do I modify this for this person? The system already notices what the user is actually working on, what they need to get done, and provides them with the right form. From there, we've got infinite number of possibilities. We're going to be able to allow people to build these little mini modules and actually have them connected up to a larger NYC operations dashboard. And that actually will let you tack on anything that you might be interested in, anything that you want to follow, public meetings, if you any sort of report. And this isn't just a one and done. These reports get published and the data goes stale. We actually have freshness rates. They let you know when things are going to be refreshed, when it's going to be newest, and also when it can be used in high stakes situation or when it should just be used to as a reference material.
Were there any challenges that you encountered when creating this tool?
Yeah, actually the fact that I'm not a developer. I've taught myself some HTML and CSS a while back, and I could make a nicely designed, functioning website, but never an application or never anything with like a lot of animations, web-wise. So really, I've been utilizing AI as a tool to help me build the AI. And so it's kind of been a twofold. In me helping the AI build itself, it also helps me, which is really the program that I've been building and all these protocols and pipelines.
Do you have any future plans for your project?
Yeah, so eventually we want to be medically certified because at its core, this is an accessibility and communications layer. It's just everything else on top of it. Everything from a book with an NFC tag in it, or eventually a book jacket with RFID and NFC tag in it. Brochures that can lead to an AR experience. We have things like in the pipeline, we have augmented glasses, AR and VR, but they're modular. I believe we have 5 different models based off of different needs. So accessibility, professional, sports, all kinds of things like that. We're also going to have accessibility-friendly clothing. So think things with eject pockets to quickly pull devices out of your pockets, but also things that are great for people with autism and itchy fibers or safe tagging measures, things of that nature.
How can our viewers support your project?
Right now, we don't have any socials or anything up, but you can send me an email at alexconner, CONNER, .nyc@gmail.com. And just let me know, what you're interested in or that you saw the video and that you're interested. And I actually have a form that I can send out with a little bit more info about what the system can do. And that will that'll tell me, what I can help you with.